Do you want something to bring to the party or the family get together that's going to let everybody know that you've elevated your culinary prowess? It's actually surprisingly easy to make. The spinach dip's going to be perfect for you. What's up, kitchen heads? Today I'm going to show you how to make my world famous spinach dip. And it is pretty famous in my world. I made this for my wife's family one time, and now they pretty much won't let me through the door without it. And I had to give it kind of a vague name because I like to change it at least a little bit every time that I make it. So today we're going to do a dip with bacon and jalapenos, but you can add anything else in there that you think might be tasty. And if you want this to be a vegetarian dish, of course, just take the bacon out. And you could always take the jalapenos out if you just don't want it to taste as good for some reason. So we're going to get started. We're going to start by doing the two things that need to be cooked ahead of time. That way we can just assemble our dip and bake it. But first, the very first thing we're going to do is take the cream cheese out of the fridge. There's nothing worse than getting to the part of the recipe where you need softened butter or cream cheese and realizing that it's still in the fridge and you end up with like a microwaved, liquidy, soupy mess. All right.
The next thing we'll do is go ahead and start the bacon. I almost always do my bacon like this on a sheet pan lined with aluminum foil because it's easy, it cooks super evenly, it makes it easy to save the bacon grease for later if you want, and if you're careful, you can just throw the foil away when you're done and you won't have any greasy ass dishes to worry about. So you'll cook it at 375 for about 10 minutes, drain the grease, flip them over, and cook for about 7 or 8 more minutes. And then at that point, you just keep an eye on them until they're at your preferred level of doneness. For this, I'm going to want them pretty crispy. We don't want to add any chewiness to the dip, just flavor. Some people might not even clock that there's bacon in it right away, and you're not legally obligated to tell them. While the bacon is cooking, we're going to cook our garlic and jalapenos. So while our pan is heating up, we'll dice 2 jalapenos and 5 cloves of garlic. So throw a medium saute pan on a medium to low heat depending on your stove. We'll add some olive oil to our saute pan and turn it down to medium-low as we add our jalapenos. We want to let those cook for about 2 minutes before we add our garlic. And add a little more oil if you want. Really fry those bastards. Don't worry about it being too greasy. We're going to remove the excess oil. Now we just want to cook it on medium-low just until we start to see some color on the garlic. Maybe another 2 or 3 minutes. As soon as you start to see some brown on that garlic, take it off the heat and dump it onto a paper towel. Now let's give our friends the bacon that same paper towel treatment and chop that up, and let's assemble our dip. I give it a pretty fine chop, but you can leave yours chunky monkey if you like. It's up to you. The base of this dip is always going to be an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, 1 cup of mayonnaise, and about 1.25 cups, really just I do an overflowing measuring cup, whatever that is, of shredded mozzarella. Mix all of that together until you have one homogeneous, bland, creamy blob. Then add your bacon, your jalapeno mixture, and about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese.
This is where the recipe starts to get fun. Now I'm going to season this with salt and pepper and a little bit of Slap Your Mama Cajun seasoning, but most of the flavor is going to come from hot sauce. And this will taste great if you just use whatever kind of hot sauce you put on your eggs in the morning. But if you have the chance to make it a little bit more interesting, please do yourself a favor. Today we're going to use 2. We're going to use some Melinda's green sauce because that'll go really good with the spinach and jalapenos. And we're also going to use one of my favorite hot sauces. It's called Hank sauce. And you can get it on Amazon. I forget where I originally found it, but it's an herb-infused hot sauce. And it's not super duper spicy. So if you're going to use like Tabasco or some insanity sauce you found on the internet, just use less. Not super hot, but it's got a really good flavor, and it's going to add some complexity and some je ne sais quoi to this dip that I am going to fully take credit for.
Now we'll add the seasonings and sauces. Now this is all to your personal preference. You can add more or less, whatever you want, especially depending on what hot sauce you get your hands on. That's the great thing about being the one making it. When you're the chef, spiciness is like Project Mayhem. You decide your own level of involvement. We're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon or maybe a little more of Slap Your Mama. Then we'll do a 1.5 tablespoons of the Melinda's green sauce and a 1.5 tablespoons 1/2 of that Hank sauce, and boom goes the dynamite. Now this may seem like a lot, but remember, the base ingredients are all just beige, creamy goodness. They want this. It's not gonna come out crazy, I promise. But if you're scared, go to church, you know what I'm saying? And of course, anytime you're cooking, you can always add some, taste it, and add more accordingly.
And besides, if they wanted some bland ass dip, they could always just go get some of that sour cream ranch dip from the grocery store that's sitting next to the cottage cheese, all right? Give them flavor, guys. Give them art. Moving on.
Listen, cooking is a lot of fun. It's one of the great joys of my life, but there are some parts of it that are just dead ass boring and mind-numbingly time-consuming, and none more so than picking spinach. So if there's anybody around while you're making this that intends to help you eat it, make them help you pick the spinach. It's only right. And of course, you don't have to pick the stems off the spinach, but if you don't, please don't call it Steve Gammill's world famous spinach dip, because I would never do that to my loved ones. Once it's picked clean, give your spinach a nice chop and add it a couple of fistfuls at a time to the bowl and mix it as you go. This will make the process much easier. Once it's all mixed together, pour it into the dish you want to cook it in and throw some foil on top. I use a 9x9-inch pan, or you can cook it in the pan you're going to serve it in if you have a nice oven-safe serving dish. Put that in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. Then, if you're cooking it in the dish you intend to serve it in, just take it out and take the foil off. If not, this is when you pour it into its desired receptacle. Today, I'm using homemade sourdough as a bread bowl because I'm really trying to stun on them, you know? And guys, smash that subscribe button with one of your fingers if you want to see that video when it comes out. Either way, sprinkle the top with a thin layer of Parmesan cheese and throw it back in the oven on a low broil for 4 to 5 minutes or until it looks perfect and golden brown.
All right, I guess there's only one thing left to do. Let's try it. There you have it, folks. Take it, make it your own, take full credit for it. Just please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Lord knows we need it. You know, leave a comment below saying I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll take anything at this point. And definitely subscribe if you want to see how this bread bowl is made. We're definitely going to do some sourdough videos on this channel. And if there's any other recipes you want to see, leave it in the comments. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.